Hello everybody, it's Party Cthulhu here, and welcome back to more, I almost just said Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines, Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Blue Rescue Team. Apparently I'm still not used to playing this game. In the last episode, we helped out a kidnapped Diglett who was kidnapped by Skarmory, taken to the top of Mount Steel. We rescued him, it was a fun little time there. And, more importantly, we got the ability to make friends. They all live over here, don't ask about it. We can now recruit new members into our rescue team, and they can join us on our adventures too. Now, in this episode, fair warning, we're not going to be making any plot progress at all in this episode, so if you want to see where the plot goes, well, I have bad news for you. You're going to have to wait, but that will be next episode, and 5 is a cool number, so 5, it's prime number, so that's pretty good. But in this episode, we're going to be doing quite a few many things. I do not have anything on my job list right now. I actually want to go look at potential rescue jobs right now. So we'll show this on screen for a bit. Because, okay, Thunderwave Cave is good. Ooh, we're also getting a few new types of jobs. It's going to be interesting to see. We can see here, Deliver 1 Blast Seed. This is a new type of thing. New type of rescue mission. We see all these typical ones which are just, oh, help me get out of the dungeon or come rescue. But this is somebody specifically asking for us to deliver an item to them. So let's see, do I have a Blast Seed in my inventory. Now what I'm going to be doing in this episode is that we now have the ability to recruit new members into our rescue team. So I will be taking on all these jobs, and we are going to be going back through Thunderwave Cave and Mount Steel, and because I cursed myself into going on this epic quest to hopefully 100% this game and recruit every single team member possible, all 386 of them, I figured it's good to go ahead and start early, and well, no better place to start than Thunderwave Cave. You cannot actually recruit any Pokemon in Tiny Woods, so even after you get the ability to recruit, you still can't. But Thunderwave Cave and Mount Steel are still on the table. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be fast-forwarding, going through these dungeons, and I'm going to be showing bios for the Pokemon that we can recruit along the way, along with a few extra stuff at the end, alright? So I'll see you in what's probably a few minutes for you and more than a few minutes for me. Oh god, I just realized I'm gonna have to nickname all these Pokemon as soon as we get them. I don't remember if you can change people's nicknames in Mystery Dungeon readily. I suppose this is actually a good place to check, so I'm actually not going to nickname this Poochyena. And, well, we'll see if we can later. First up, before we actually get into bios, there's a few base game Mystery Dungeon mechanics that I really should have gone into a lot earlier, but bios were getting kind of long in the starter and partner section, and we didn't have an opportunity to do them before now, so this is a good point to stick them in. First of all, if you're familiar with the main Pokemon games, you're probably familiar with what effort values and individual values, EVs and IVs are. They do not exist in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Instead, your stats go up by a fixed amount on level up, and there are other ways to increase your stats through gummies that we've seen, various health drinks. These would be the equivalent of like protein, iron, calcium in Mystery Dungeon, citrus berries, and other items. As well, I really should have mentioned this first and foremost. The speed stat, despite it being on all the bios because of the place that I pull these from, and it'd be way too much effort to edit it out, the speed stat doesn't actually exist in Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. It varies, like speed in Mystery Dungeon doesn't affect the turn order, but it does affect accuracy. So it's kind of more like a speed stat from a traditional RPG, actually. Instead, there's a stat called travel speed, which is not like a real stat. It's mostly just something that, it's a stat that can be changed. Like if I use agility or scary face, speed boost, or paralysis, it affects how many actions you can take in one turn. As well, natures do exist in Mystery Dungeon, but they don't change your stats. Oh, is this the place where that team named Edelweiss is based? There's nothing here. Depressing, isn't it? Who'd run a rescue team from a dump like this? Unbelievable. Who are you people? Oh? Over there, a mailbox. Yeah, check it out. No, wait a second, what do you think you're doing? Yes, rescue job offers. Ooh la la, isn't that rather tasty? We'll have them all. Stop! Those are meant for us. Don't butt in. It doesn't matter who does it. We're a rescue team too, I'll have you know. But all we ever get up to is no good. Wanna know how it works? If we have the cover of a rescue team, we can get away with so much more. We have our eyes on world domination. What? World domination? You heard right. That's why we're raking in the cash and adding to our gang. The world would be ours. The rescue team of evil, Team Meanies is who we are. See you around. Now wait a second. They took off. What an unbelievable bunch. Oh no, it is empty. They took everything. Thank you for your service, Mr. Postman. We're in luck. Pellifer delivered some mail. We can go on rescue missions again with this. Those guys better not try anything when we see them again. Yeah, so I completely forgot there was going to be more plot stuff as soon as the day passes. But, back to the montage. So little fact, in the Rescue Team series, there is no way to nickname Pokemon other than some very specific cases, and just having the Pokemon is not one of them. So you can change the name upon recruitment, and I think that's it in this game, actually, for most cases. So, I'm sorry, Poochyena #1, we're going to have to say goodbye to you, so, we're gonna have to get one with a better name. This is the first time I've ever said farewell to a Pokemon in Mystery Dungeon, actually. Now we can actually pop into Bioland, and we're gonna start with the ones in Thunderwave Cave. First up, being a personal favorite of mine, actually, this evolutionary line. I used this in my last playthrough of Platinum with my younger brother. Oh boy, is that a story. We have Elekid. Elekid is fairly fast. We did just go over that speed doesn't actually exist in Mystery Dungeon, but it will have accuracy. Elekid on its own is not a bad mixed attacker. It does kind of need to evolve to get actually really good, but on its own, I mean, it's not terrible. Electric type is still good, especially because you can't get just completely walled by ground types in Mystery Dungeon. Another thing that I should note with abilities like Static, which Elekid had, I should have also noted this in Starters and Partners. There's not really enough room to note this on the ability thing itself that I have on the screen. It also applies to a bunch of other abilities, so this is important. If it's something like Static or Poison Point that activates on contact, it will only activate if the target is 1 square away from the user. So if Elekid gets attacked by a quick attack from 1 square away, like if there's a 1 tile gap between them, Static has a 0% chance to activate. It will never activate in that situation. So they do have to be right next to them for Static to activate. It is still a good ability, but that is something to keep in mind. Next up, the original one half of the gender duo, it's Nidoran Female. Nidoran Female is kind of a generic poison type. Generic in that it's kind of bad. It doesn't really have any good stats. Poison Point is an interesting ability. I don't think it's as good as Static because Poison in general is not going to be as good as Paralysis will be. Paralysis will basically stop their movement. It cuts their travel speed in half. We just talked about this earlier before the bios. But Poison, I mean, the extra bit of chip damage is nice, but it's nothing huge. So Nidoran female, I mean, whatever. It's not great. It doesn't really get good until it evolves. Next up, we have Poochyena. Poochyena is a little cutie. I really like him. He's a cute little hyena. Sadly, he has a pretty bad ability of Runaway. It's not great. It does prevent being trapped, which is pretty nice. Again, abilities like trapping as well, Shadow Tag, Arena Trap, they only work if the target is one tile away, so again, keep that in mind. But Poochyena doesn't really have all that good of stats, at least until it evolves into Mightyena, but again, that's not going to happen in Mystery Dungeon, so it's alright for now. Dark type is definitely an interesting type to have. You're not going to see a lot of those in Pokemon, really, so it's unique. It's got 55 base attack, that's not bad. So it could maybe be worth it to pick it up. Next up, we got the original generic rat himself, it's Rattata. Now, luckily Rattata isn't as cursed as Poochyena in that it doesn't only have Runaway, it also has Guts, which is a fantastic ability, by the way. Guts is definitely, in my opinion, one of the best abilities in all of Pokemon. And its stats are definitely a little better than Poochyena's are, especially with that 72 speed. Again, speed doesn't really exist, but it will help accuracy out. It does have exactly one higher base attack than Poochyena, but being normal type doesn't really help it with that. It can definitely learn a lot of good moves being normal type. People who played the main series Pokemon games probably are familiar with using Super Fang on Rattata, which is definitely a lot of fun. I don't know if Rattata actually learns it, that might just be Raticate, but I can maybe recommend Rattata about the same as Poochyena, mostly because they differ in type. It definitely has the better stats, but I like Dark type more. Oh, that is a new behavior that we've seen. I believe this might be an IQ skill, actually. Item Master? Yes, the Item Master IQ skill that Creature has right here means that when I was low on HP, he actually threw his Oran Berry at me for me to heal. Also, I should check. This is male, right? Well, it won't tell me, so. Next up, the original victim of incredibly stupid looking designs, it's Voltorb, one of the original electric types. Voltorb's claim to fame in the main games is that he's really freaking fast and that he can blow up, which is two traits that aren't really good in Mystery Dungeon. It will basically always hit when stuff is nice. Soundproof is actually a pretty decent ability because sound-based moves will affect the entire room, which is pretty brutal. But it's not like huge. Its stats aren't very good. 55 base special attack, I guess, isn't bad for an electric type, but I mean, it's alright. It's definitely just okay. If you like having a ball as a Pokemon, I guess, you should probably pick it up. Ooh, this is also the first time this has happened. By getting enough rescue points by doing missions, we actually went up in rank, which I believe means we will be getting more difficult missions from now on. Skipper, Sparky, huh? Who was that? Oh, Caterpie, how have you been? Please help my friend. What's the matter? I was playing with my friend Metapod. The Metapod got lost in the woods. He's still out there. Oh, I see. That does sound bad. Hey, what do you think you're doing? Have no fear. We're here to save your chum, Metapod. Hold on, Caterpie came to us for help. You think you do this rescue with your amateur level skills? What did you say? It doesn't matter who does the rescuing, see? The guy that does the rescuing gets to be the hero. Listen, Caterpie, how about we do this? How about you give the reward to the team that brings you back your chum first? But I don't have any money. Oh, don't you worry about that, my little friend. I'm sure we can persuade your parents to reward us with interest afterward. Oh, yeah. You can even join our team. There's an offer you can't refuse. When you join us, Caterpie, we'll let you be a big wheel in Team Meaties. That's the deal, Sparky. First to rescue wins. Come on, move. Let's get this done already. Don't worry, we'll save your friend first. Skipper, let's get going. Well, I'm sorry, Caterpie. I have some bad news for you. I should note now that we have a bunch of money and also we have the ability to actually recruit Pokemon, we are going to need to buy some friend areas. So in particular, I know Safari is one of them we're going to need, but I'm not sure how many other ones. I might just buy a whole bunch. Next up, this is going to be our first instance of this in Mystery Dungeon. As with the main Pokemon games, there are version-exclusive Pokemon in Mystery Dungeon. But don't worry, unlike the main games, it is extremely easy to grab the other version exclusives. You don't even need to trade or anything. We have Plusle. Plusle is the Gen 3 equivalent to Pikachu, except it's split in half. And its ability plus is kind of useless unless you're also going to drag a Minun along, which means that like 2 members of your team are going to be electric, so you're going to get completely owned by ground types. It's not a very good position to be in. Plusle, as befitting of its red colors and only in Red Rescue Team, but its stats are actually pretty good. Mostly because it doesn't evolve at all, so it has to actually be decent. But like 85 base special attack, 95 speed, 60 HP, this thing can definitely dish out some damage. I can recommend Plusle and Minun. Oh yeah, spoilers by the way, next one's Minun. A little more than in the main series games. As I accidentally spoiled about 5 seconds ago, we also have Minun, which is the Blue Rescue Team equivalent. This is also the same case if you're playing like Ruby and Sapphire. They really wanted to mix and match those colors. Minun I can't recommend as much as Plusle because its special attack is a little lower. In turn, it has higher defenses, its special defense, which I guess isn't really bad, and if you can pair it up with a Plusle, it's definitely gonna dish out a crap load of damage along with Plusle, but having them both be electric type kinda hurts a bit. But Minun, I mean, it's not bad, but I can definitely recommend Plusle more, and don't worry about version exclusives. It's gonna be extremely easy to obtain some version exclusives later. What are you doing, Sparky? He's dead. Well, this also happened for the first time. Like I said, I hope I said, I'm going to say it in the post-commentary thing, I sure hope that future me remembers this. The Pokemon that you recruit for your team needs to survive the dungeon in order to actually be recruited. So, I'm sorry Splinter 1, you will be sorely missed, just like with the first Poochyena that we ever recruited. But you know, I don't want to say that you can be replaced, but okay, it would have been funny if we recruited him right there. Next up, moving over to Mount Steel, is a Pokemon that is another one of my personal favorites. I'm definitely gonna have story time with this Pokemon later, even though indirectly the story doesn't even have to do with them. It's Aron. Aron is a freaking tank. Look at that 100 base defense and 70 base attack. This thing is gonna hurt hard, especially because it has Rock Head for its ability, which means that it can use super powerful moves like Takedown, and it's gonna dish out a crap load of damage off of it. Sturdy is not that important of ability before Gen 5, so don't worry about that. Its typing is also pretty good. Steel Rock isn't half bad. Its only real issue is that it's quad weak to fighting, but fighting is honestly not that common of a type, and in Gen 3 I wouldn't say fighting is really good yet, at least not until No Guard gets introduced as an ability. No Guard was Gen 4, so yeah, fighting types weren't all that great. Being quad weak to fighting is definitely not great, but with that defense, it can probably still survive a hit or two. Aron is a really good tank, and I can highly recommend it for that. Thank you, Mr. Hunky Postman of my dreams. Next up, we have Mr. Spinning Top himself, it's Baltoy. Baltoy is a very weird Pokemon. I can't really recommend it until it evolves into Claydol, which I feel like I say this for every single Pokemon in Mystery Dungeon, but it's like, oh, this Pokemon's not great until it evolves, and we're not going to be able to evolve. Luckily, Levitate is definitely a fantastic ability with full immunity to ground-type moves. Earthquake is still a good move like it is in the main series, and it's still going to hurt quite a bit from it because it only has 55 base defense. But its main stat is special defense. With a type like Ground Psychic that's not really great, it can't really like wall physical stuff as its type of ground would be accustomed to doing, and it's not really going to dish out damage with 40 base special attack with the Psychic, so this one's kind of Nothing special until it evolves, so it's just okay. You always come to visit me when I need it the most. Next up, speaking of things that I would highly recommend if they evolved, but again, this is Mystery Dungeon, it is Beldum. Beldum is a rough package in Mystery Dungeon. Not being able to evolve is probably the worst state that this Pokemon could be in, because Beldum only learns one move, which is Takedown. Takedown is also a recoil move, so you will always do damage to yourself with it. It does have an amazing ability of Clear Body, which makes it so that its stats cannot be reduced at all, which is definitely an extremely good ability. It has a great type of Steel Psychic. Its stats are not too bad. 80 base defense is not half bad. 55 attack isn't great. It's not really going to be doing damage with that Takedown, especially because it's not the same type attack bonus move. But Beldum is a hard sell mostly because it only learns one move, so it is a one-trick pony. Next up, we have the original victim of unfortunate typing. It's Geodude. Geodude does have the same abilities as Aron, which is nice. Sturdy and Rockhead are both great, especially Rockhead. I don't actually know if Geodude learns Takedown though, unlike Aron. But Geodude's stats are maybe a little more accustomed to what it's supposed to do, which is deal out some physical damage with an 80 base attack and wall physical types with 100 base defense. The only problem is its type is god-awful of ground rock. Quad weak to grass, quad weak to water, I think it's weak to ice, fighting, I'm sure there's more in there. But it's gonna basically get one-hit KO'd by any special attacker, especially with 30 base special defense, and it's incredibly slow, which doesn't affect turn order, but will affect accuracy in Mystery Dungeon. So Geodude is an unfortunate victim of its typing, but it can definitely wall some physical stuff. You just can't get enough of me, can you? Next up, from weird typing to contradictory typing, it's Metatype. Metatype is a very weird Pokemon. I always like this Pokemon quite a bit. It has an ability that functions very differently in the main games, but it's a very cool ability, Pure Power, which basically means that it has a 1 in 3 chance of boosting a physical attack by 50%. In the main games, it would actually double its attack stat all the time, which was definitely an interesting thing to do. Because with 40 base attack, 40 base special attack, its main role, as you can see with fighting and psychic types, is to be a mixed attacker. It's kind of just average at best, at least until it evolves. I think when it evolves, it actually gets to be a really good Pokemon, but on its own, I mean, it's alright. It can definitely do some mixed attacks, but it's not really gonna do a lot of damage. Pure Power is a nice ability in, say, boss fights where Pokemon will survive like 3 turns, so you have an average. It's on average is going to activate once, but in like a dungeon situation, you're not really going to be fighting Pokemon for that long, so it's just okay. Its ability is not that helpful. Next up, we have the King of Kings himself. If I could recommend one Pokemon to pick up early in this game, it is this one. I think he's kind of overused in the main games, but in Mystery Dungeon, I mean, he is the king. It is Pinsir. Pinsir is probably one of the most incredible early game Pokemon you could ever ask for in any game. Look at those stats. This thing doesn't evolve, so it has to be self-sufficient, except unlike +1 Minun, it has godlike stats. 125 base attack is going to hit extremely hard on this Pinsir, and its ability of Hypercutter is fantastic. Its attack stat cannot be lowered. It's basically Clear Body, but only for attack stat. 100 base defense, it's gonna wall a lot of stuff. 70 base special defense, not half bad. It won't die instantly to a lot of types out there. It can definitely maybe withstand a hit from a flying type with that defense. 85 base speed, 65 base HP. This Pokemon is freaking incredible. It has a great learn set. It's gonna one-hit KO almost anything. Its type of bug, I mean, it's not the best, but it'll do. It doesn't learn the best moves off of it, but it can complement it with some other moves of some other types like fighting or ground or so. So basically, if you hate psychic types, pack this on your team because it will one-hit KO them. So another helpful feature in recruiting and finding Pokemon that you can recruit, so you don't have to memorize every single friend area and what Pokemon they have in them. If you go to others and you see this recruitment search option, you can actually see potential recruits. So these are Pokemon that are on this dungeon floor and that you have the friend area for. At least that's what I presume. I'm not entirely sure, but that's what makes sense. So I could potentially recruit this pincer if I actually hit it with something. Okay, so not that time, but, you know, whatever. I also think that I found a solution to the little bug that I'm having where occasionally if I just press A, it'll tell me no move is set, like it's defaulting to setting moves on stuff, and won't let me talk to anything or use any basic attacks. I need to do this first. If I hit select, which blinks out the screen for the map, it seems to fix it, so it's pretty helpful. Also, I should note, this is what happens when you come to the 9th floor of Mount Seal again. Obviously, Skarmory is not here, so it's impossible to go any farther. It's time to go back. It's just a little special end of the dungeon. The ruggedly handsome postman of my dreams. He's back. So also another tool to help you request, at the Wigglytuff Club, you can check, and I believe this is every Pokemon that you've seen in the game so far. It will note blue is Pokemon that you've already recruited, so of course Mudkip, Elekid, Zigzagoon, things like this. Green, I believe, means that you have the friend area for it, so if you check Meter and Female, we have Safari, we can already go there. And if you check red, like Execute's friend area is Jungle, you don't own that yet, so you need to buy that first. So this is just another tool to help you note, okay, I can recruit this Pokemon. Next up, it's Bird 2, it's Sphero. Sphero is a different sort of flying type from Pidgey that you're used to if you played the Gen 1 games. This is the other generic bird. Keen Eye is not the best ability, it's alright. I mean, lower accuracy is definitely annoying in Mystery Dungeon because it takes a while to go away. Normal flying, it's kind of a bad type, honestly. Like, it's not great. The normal type doesn't really help it out. It just makes it so that it takes normal damage from fighting now. It doesn't give it any extra type coverage. It'll hurt a little harder off of, like, takedown and stuff. But flying types have enough good moves as it is already. 60 base attack is decent. It's going to deal out some decent damage. 70 base speed is definitely more important in the main games. Sphero gets to be ridiculously fast when it levels up and it evolves, but again, this is like the running theme of Mystery Dungeon. That's not going to happen. So Sphero is just okay. You'll always be there for me, mister. Next up, the king of mediocre among my favorite type in the game, it's Tyrogue. Tyrogue is a Pokemon that is I don't know what I'm meant to be, I'm not amending anything. That is meant to evolve. Its point is that, well, honestly, I don't really get the point of Tyrogue. This was in the Gen 2 craze where they had to introduce pre-evolutions for every Pokemon for no reason. It does definitely have a good ability of Guts. Fighting is a really good type in my opinion. I think it's one of the more underrated types of the early games. It is also my favorite type, so that might just be my bias speaking. But it has base 35 stats everywhere, which is just frankly terrible. It is one of the worst stat distributions you could ever ask for, especially in a fighting type. So sadly, Tyrogue, I would recommend skipping. There are better fighting types. There are even better Pokemon at using fighting type moves that aren't fighting types, like Pinsir. Okay, I've decided that when it happens that, like, I can't use my basic attack and it always tries to, like, use a set move. Even Select does it. It's just random. I legitimately do not understand it. I pressed Select that time and it didn't do anything, but then I pressed Start and it worked. So, look, if I do this, hit Select, no. I hit Start, no. But now it just does. I didn't do anything different that time. And then last up, for all the Pokemon we're gonna see, it is the king of HM slaves himself. It is Zigzagoon. Zigzagoon, I mean, he's a little cutie. He's a cute little raccoon. But he's kind of the Rattata clone of Gen 3. He has Pickup, which is... It's actually, I think it's a way better ability in Mystery Dungeon than in the main game. I think it's maybe a little overrated in the main game. Like, yeah, it gets you free items, but you should be swimming in money in the main games. 60 base speed is his best stat. That's not great. Normal type. I mean, he can learn a lot of moves, but it doesn't really have the stats to use them. It's not really going to get any good same type attack bonus off of anything except for maybe takedown. So, it's not great. It's a sad note to end all the bios for this episode off on, but I mean, at least he's cute. Aw, you're always there for me. Well guys, I have been here recording for an hour, 29 minutes, and 29 seconds at this point. And frankly, I've recruited a lot of Pokemon, but I'm giving up on doing the rest. I have a lot of money, I've gotten the friend areas, I've gotten just kind of unlucky, I had a few team members faint, but if we look here at all the team members that we have, Faraday is the first Magnemite we got, Brady is Voltorb, Maxwell is Elekid, Aisha the Poochyena, Creature the Zigzagoon, and Fermi the Minun. So from Thunderwave Cave, I'm missing Nidoran female, Poochyena, Rattata, and Puzzle. And then from Mount Steel, I'm missing a whole lot of Pokemon, but I don't have the friend areas for all of them. I just bought Mount Discipline. So I'm going to switch it up, and I will actually meet you guys back on the title screen for a mechanic that we haven't gone over yet, but is actually vitally important to the game. You see on this main menu here, and you may have noticed on all the drop requests that we've been getting, they have something that's called a Wonder Mail on it. This is kind of the big multiplayer feature of this game, or, well, it would be, if it wasn't so easily exploitable, but I'm not going to be exploiting it, at least not for this. This is how you're intended to kind of do multiplayer mechanics with each other. If you're sitting next to your friend Jim, who has Pokemon Mystery Dungeon Red Rescue Team, and is sees this really awesome rescue job that he has, that he thinks that it would be really helpful for you, because, oh, you're missing a Reviver Seed, and that's the reward for this one, but I have 80 billion in storage. Well, your buddy Jim can tell you, hey, I have this great Wonder Code right here, this Wonder Mail code on this job. Here's what it looks like, and if you have a handy dandy pen and paper or a phone to take a picture of it, because it's kind of absorbently long, you can enter it yourself and you'll get that job. Now, I'm not going to be doing a password for a normal job like that. This one is going to be kind of special. It is question mark MS. I will put this on the screen, like, easily viewable. CJ, it's kind of awkward because there's an ellipses character, or this is actually like a character in Japanese, 3 floating dots. That's pretty much like an ellipses. Ellipses, question mark. You can also easily find this online resources like Bulbapedia. Question mark P. Oh wow, getting dirty. MF. Question 8. 7J. 6R, I know this is really interesting to see me input, but trust me, it's important. Ellipses, M, question 1. We received the Wonder Mail, it's gonna save our adventure. It's threatening us with it with that big caution icon right there. And it was added to our job list. Now if we continue the game, which, yeah, you can see my playtime is 3 hours now. And yeah, sorry Caterpie. When we look at our job list, we see something in Oddity Cave. Oddity Cave is an exclusive dungeon that is only available through this Wonder Mail code. I presume this was given out at a Nintendo event, which thankfully you don't have to actually travel to the event to get these in this game. You can just enter the Wonder Mail code. The reason I'm showing this off now is that if you were playing the remakes on the Switch, Rescue Team DX, this is unlocked after you complete Mount Steel. So you can see Client Jigglypuff, Find Pikachu, Red Gummy. So let's go ahead and take this job, and I will be showing Oddity Cave. This is kind of a long dungeon, but we're gonna try and turbo our way through it. Now I'm not going to be putting in any bios for this dungeon because all the Pokemon, wow, that was fast. All the Pokemon that we can encounter here, we will be encountering later. There's not like any exclusive Pokemon, so we're not gonna have that issue. Oh, we are gonna get owned right here. We might not be strong enough to take on this dungeon. Okay, we defeated the first Pokemon. Oh, thank you, Sparky, that was nice. We may not be strong enough to take on this dungeon. If nothing else, I wanted to show that it was here and available. Frankly, if I can't take this on now, I don't know how they expect you to take it on right after Mount Seal, because while doing that recruitment montage, I did a crap load of grinding. Not on purpose, mind you, it was just trying to get Pokemon recruited onto our team. So I'm at least gonna run this through, see how far I can get. If worse comes to worse, oh, I do not have an escape orb with me. I picked up a lot of escape orbs too, but it seems I do not have any of them, sadly. Uh-oh, that Leer is kind of scary. Why did I use Tackle? That's stupid. The Nidorans have an ability called Poison Point, as we saw in their bio, which means that they will poison on contact, which makes contact making moves really scary around them. Although poison isn't so bad in Mystery Dungeon, really. Okay, it's Petrify Orb. That's not an escape orb, but oh well. So, luckily I don't have a lot of money or items on me, so I won't actually lose that much. But we will probably see what actually happens if you die in this game. We saw before that, like, we've seen team members faint because that happened on the rescue missions that we did. In fact, yeah, we had Sphero, we had our first Rattata, we had a bunch of Pokemon kind of bite the dust. Oh my god, there's a freaking Pikachu here. The Clone Wars. Struggle? Struggle? Why is it so strong? Oh my god, why does Mudslap keep missing? Oh my god! Why can't I hit him? Was that 3 Mudslap misses? That was 3 Mudslap misses. It just says took no damage, but I think that means miss. Because there's no way he would have been immune, because he is an electric type. Now, this is another multiplayer feature. I guess this is a good time we went over this. If you do lose in a dungeon, what you can do is that you can get help from other players. This is another multiplayer feature. Basically, you will generate a Wonder Mail code to send to other players, and they can rescue you, and then when they rescue you in the dungeon, they'll get a Wonder Mail code, you can input it in your game, and you'll be rescued by another team. Now, obviously, I don't have anybody else to do this with, and waiting on them would be kind of weird. I could technically put this in another game on my own and, like, just do this myself. And if you're playing on the DS version, Blue Rescue Team, and you have another person with a DS version, Blue Rescue Team, you can also do this over Wi-Fi. I will be showing Wi-Fi features later in this game, hopefully, probably very, very late, but I won't be able to show this mechanic right now. Maybe this will come into play later, but for right now, no, we will not get a distress call. And we were defeated by Electric's freaking Struggle that did 1 billion damage. So yeah, we are not strong enough to take on Oddity Cave right now, but I just wanted to show that it existed. Good morning, Skipper. We failed yesterday, so let's try harder this time. Oh, but the ruggedly handsome mailman of my dreams is here, and this makes me feel all better already. So, you might also be wondering, with Wonder Mail codes, I'm going to introduce this now, but I'm not going to, it's going to come up a little bit later. You may have noticed, at least I hope you noticed, because I am recording this before I do all the bios for this episode, so I better say this because it's vitally, vitally, vitally important, that we saw that there are version exclusive Pokemon in this game. Minun and Plusle and Thunderwave Cave were version exclusive. But I did say that you could recruit all 386 Pokemon in this game. The way you will be recruiting the version exclusive Pokemon is going to be through Wonder Mail codes that will give you recruitment opportunities. We could actually enter the code for Plusle right now, I think, but the mission for it is going to be in a dungeon that we don't have yet, so I can't actually show it. So, with this whole boatload of recruiting, me dying in an optional dungeon, and I said there was going to be 0 story progress, but that actually wasn't true at the beginning. I think that's going to be it for this episode. I've been recording for 1 hour and 40 minutes now, so... and I still do not have all the recruitments that I wanted done. But that's going to be all for this episode. In the next episode, we are finally going to rescue Caterpie's friend Metapod in Sinister Woods. I almost forgot the name of the place because it's been so long since we heard it. But thank you all for watching, and I'll see you next time.